Hello, hello. I thought I would share with you a little bit about how to build your interactive skills. We talked about this Monday night at our success event, and I so appreciate all of you that come on Monday nights because it is a place that we can grow externally and internally. We can learn different beauty techniques and different techniques to be successful in our business, but we also grow as people. And this is one of the classes that I taught, and it is really how to build your personal charisma. You see, our business is not tough. It's put this on, take this off, and let them experience the product by asking them, how does that feel? And when they experience this product, they want this product, and you just need to help them get it. So that's really how simple it is. So the rest of it is in our head. The rest of it is building who we are as a person and developing our skills. And our skills must be developed in all areas of our life. And the skills that we do develop help us in all areas of our life. So we're going to talk about just some personal traits, emotional traits that can help you and me be successful with interaction. See, some of us are introverts, some of us are extroverts, and whether you're an introvert or an extrovert, you can be successful in this business. It is just developing these few emotional traits. So the first one I'm going to talk about is you have to be willing to emotionally express yourself. So you need to somewhat wear your heart on your sleeve. People need to know that you're real. They need to feel you as well as see you. It is so important that they can do that. Now, that doesn't mean that you throw up all over people and you tell them you had a bad day and you share all that. But it does mean sometimes you have to be vulnerable. And oh my, is that been something that has been tough for me to learn. In fact, the first of this year, that was something that I chose. I really needed to work on, and I have been working on for over 6 months, and that is learning how to be vulnerable. Being vulnerable allows them to see who you are as a person, and that is important. The second one is to have empathy. It is really important to have empathy but not sympathy. And Mary Kay used to tell us that all the time. Be empathetic, but do not walk into sympathy. What is the difference? Being empathetic is listening, understanding, being able to step into their world and almost connect like a magnet and then pull them out. That is empathy. Sympathy is walking into their world, into whatever it is, and staying there. But you know what? That gives them a hopeless feeling. Sympathy never helps anyone. Empathy helps them to connect to you, and then you show them a different way. That is very powerful with charisma. So that's step 2. Step 3 is a charismatic person isn't afraid to show emotion, but they control their emotions. It is very important that you remember not to lose your cool. Mary Kay used to say, you always attracted more flies with honey. Now, what does that mean? There's a lot of situations that you're going to be put in that you could explode. I had one, or get a little frustrated. I had one just happen on Monday before I taught this class. I was actually heading to the class. I was sitting on the corner of 120th and Center at a red light in the left turning lane, and a woman crossed the street and pound, 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 pound on the hood of my car and started spouting off and yelling, and I have no idea what she was saying because my windows were up, my air was on, I was listening to a book. I wasn't paying any, I don't know what she said. But the guy next to me, I just smiled and nodded my head at her. And the guy next to me just, went like this and bursted out laughing. And I went like this and bursted out laughing. And the two of us sat at the stoplight and laughed. And you know what? My day went on. Now, I could have rolled down my window and said, what's wrong or whatever. And you know what? It wasn't worth it. There's a lot of times that you just want to be known to be nice. Now, this is especially difficult sometimes as moms when we're sitting on the bleachers at a sporting event and somebody's not treating our child right. Oh my gosh, I remember that. I remember a time when Joseph was being literally thrown around on the basketball court. I mean, literally, he was thrown into the bleachers and the referees were not stopping it. And I knew he was going to get hurt, and the whole team, all the parents were starting to get riled up. And I sat there and someone said, aren't you upset about it? And I said, yes. And at halftime, I'll go talk to him about it. And I did. I went down and I talked to the referee and I said, you have the power to stop this, but my son could get hurt because for some reason they're targeting him. And he looked at me and he appreciated the fact that I didn't yell, I just went and handled the situation. Now, whatever you have to do, remember who you are, and also remember that that person might be sitting next to you or across from you in a business situation tomorrow. That husband might be the husband, or that man might be the husband of the wife that you're talking inventory with, or that you walk in to do a beauty experience with the next day. And how would you feel? So always remember to treat people with kindness and be sweet, and know that is going to come back to you in one way or the other. I am not a pushover. I'm going to tell you, I am not a pushover, but I'd rather have somebody think that I'm a pushover before somebody thought that I was being cruel. So just remember that. Number 3, be willing to engage others in social interactions. If you're an introvert, that is kind of a scary thought. Do you know, if you're an introvert, before you go into a social activity, you need to give some thought. You need to power up. You need to think about, how are you going to enter that room? What are you going to do? How are you going to interact? Those things are really important. Who are you going to go to and talk to first? Because I know as an introvert, you'd like to, if you even want to go. Usually I don't want to go. But even if you want to go, you want to go to the person who's sitting on the sidelines and sit down and talk to that one single person. But you need to put yourself out there and command attention. How you command attention is the way you dress, the way you look. And that is your job, is to take time to do that. Make sure your makeup's on. Make sure that you're dressed the proper way. I would always, and I still do, play this game with myself. I always want to be just a little bit more dressed, so I'm remembered. So if I meet somebody and I call them the next day, they remember who I am. And you need to think about that in your interactions. Okay. Number 5, learn to read the details during interaction. Mary Kay used to always say that God gave you one mouth and 2 ears for a reason, and that is to be quiet and listen. You learn much more when you ask questions and listen. However, I am going to tell you that you can hear more with your eyes sometimes than you can even with your ears. You can hear and see reactions. If you watch at your beauty experiences, you can see the people to approach afterwards about the business. You can see and hear so much information when you're in a social interaction. And even I know you do this with your kids. If you have kids, you see their body language. You know when they're telling you the truth and when something else is really going on, because they're going to show you with body language. Learn to read that. And finally, number 6, learn social control. This is the ability to lead a group, but yet make individuals feel like you're relating to them. Now, this might be in the situation that an introvert does succeed a little bit more and an extrovert needs to work at, because an extrovert will walk into a crowd and work a crowd, but maybe not create those individual interactions. And so at your beauty experiences, you might have this fun personality and you're having a great time up there, but you're not connecting with them individually. And so it's important to learn, how do you hold their eyes? How do you lean in? How do you talk to a person in a group individually to make them feel like they're talking to just me? Because when you're in front of a group, you want them to leave thinking, oh my gosh, she was in my head. She was talking to me. That's the way you want them to feel. Oh my gosh, she knew exactly what my needs were. When you're closing with them individually, oh my gosh, she knew exactly what I needed. You do that by balancing all of these traits together. Any one of these traits alone can be overbearing and too much. But when you balance them together, they become very, very powerful, and it enables you to attract the right people, to be able to read what people need, to be able to read what people want, and then help them get it. I hope this helps you out a lot. Have a great day, and just comment about one thing that you really felt related to you. Can't wait to hear from you.